Hi there. If you ever find yourself using or trying to set up an automation where you can select or specify a runner before the event begins, you need to get used to using the At Runtime option. Unless your strategy is a very simple strategy where, to give you an example, you always back the favorite, which is an easy enough strategy to set up, which can then be assigned to every race you desire. You can't simply specify within the automation, please back horse XYZ, because horse XYZ doesn't run in every race. So you need a mechanism to actually tell Fairbot, select such and such a runner. And to do that, you use the at run selection method. And that manifests itself by providing a little unknown link here. And when you click on it, you get the runners in the current race. If you then assign this strategy to another market, this little menu here will contain the runners from that market. You can also set up a mechanism where you start specifying conditions. So for example, you want to select a float from this race, but a float's odds must be greater than 4. But when you start to do that and add in extra conditions and so on, you then find yourself having to specify a number of different places the same thing. And as you can imagine, it would be very easy to inadvertently select the wrong runner. And that becomes all the more important the more complex your strategy is. So for example, if I assign part 2, it's another strategy I've set up, but this case, these 4 rules are all doing the same thing, except they're assigning back bets to our selection that we specify here, but at ever increasing odds of 5 ticks, 10 ticks, 15 ticks. And the trouble with that, of course, is that whilst each of these rules is exactly the same, essentially, compared to the previous example, we've now got 8 positions where we need to go in and specify our runner. And so clearly you could miss one out, you could inadvertently select the wrong thing, and that might end up being quite expensive if you select the wrong one. So there's a better way of doing it that achieves the same ends. And if I select part 3 here, you'll see this looks on the face of it a heck of a lot more complicated. But all we've done is start to use the apply to all option on the 4 rules that are putting in the bets as ever increasing odds, and set up another rule that creates our good old friend a control bet. And the great thing about that is that all we need to do here is specify our runner in the one place. So keep in mind what the apply all to thing does. It applies or copies that rule to every runner in the market, which is why you see this big long list of rules here. Let's just quickly have a look at that. So for the action, you choose all and make sure apply all's on, and the conditions, same thing really. The fixed odds of greater than 4, you have to have all switched on, and this one, again, choose a selection to all and make sure that the control bet is in place. Right, so if I come out of that, and we're coming up to this race starting, all I need to do is in one place, select that, and generally speaking, I would put this rule at the top of all this list so you don't have to scroll through it. So what you'll find now is we're going to put 4 bets on Graham. Let me just put check. Graham's odds aren't bigger than 4, so let me change that to a float, just for demonstration purposes. So what will happen is each of these rules will kick in individually, and you'll notice here that this one's going to put a bet on the favourite. It's going to check its odds to see if they're bigger than 4, and it's going to check to see if there's an unmatched bet on the favourite. And if those 2 conditions are true, the bet will be placed. So in our case, it should only happen on a float. So we have a float is down here. It's checking to see if it's greater than 4, which it is. It's going to check to see if there's a control bet in, which should be going in shortly. There we go. So a float, this should be executed once we get to the scheduled off time. There you go, and we should have it down in a float as well. Again, 5 ticks more, 10 ticks more, and 15 ticks more. Where are we? There we are. Okay, so if I just switch to my bets, there's a control bet. That will disappear once our race starts. And we've got our initial bet that was taken at the current back odds, and then we've got another one 5 ticks higher, another one, another 5 ticks higher, and then again a further 5 ticks higher. Now obviously these ones have to be set to keep, assuming that you want it to go in running. And you can see that's a much more elegant, although it looks much more complicated when you look at the list here. By setting it up like that, you've only got one place where you specify your runner, and that's it. An easy way to go around doing it. And it will save you a lot of time if you've got 20 markets to go in and select a runner from each time. Okay guys, thanks very much for watching.